5 home appliances I only used after moving to America. This is another great video by Lost in the Pond. Come on, go and check him out if you still haven't. Bro, his videos are just unbelievable, especially because he brings the point of view of an European living in America. So, you know, most of the times I can relate to the stuff, even though the UK is pretty different from Italy, but it's still more similar than it is America. And this in terms of home appliances, culture, so on. So this video is gonna be great. Let's check it out right away.
Hello, this video is sponsored by Wondrium.
That was quite an entrance. I want to see that again.
Hello, this video is
Hello, and then it's time to walk down the stairs. So cute.
sponsored by Wondrium. I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to home appliances. Specifically, home appliances that I only encountered after moving to the United States of America. And as I slowly continue this wild journey of moving into my first American house, it occurred to me that I already have some of these home appliances in this very house. And so come join me and apparently my cat as we go and look at 5 home appliances that I only encountered after moving to America. And if you'd like to follow my new journey of becoming an American, living in an American house with American people and an American cat, he's actually Russian, and you're not subscribed to my channel, do that now.
I did it.
Without further ado, let's go and take a look at some stuff. Oh, cat, get out of the way! You've heard me talk about ceilings.
No, actually, most houses nowadays have that too in Italy. I do not have it, but my parents have it. My sister has it. I know many people that has it as well. Yeah, it's very great.
Fans, you've heard me talk about air conditioning units, but you haven't heard me talk about one of these. No, it's not an Imperial droid, right? It is, in fact, a dehumidifier. It actually isn't. This is editing, Lawrence. I've since discovered that what past Lawrence has in front of him there is an air purifier. But the points that he's about to make about dehumidifiers are both salient and necessary. So for the next minute of your lives, you will pretend that the item in question is a dehumidifier. And we'll all go about our lives as if this never happened. Back to you, past Lawrence, and you might want to move the air purifier to the side so that we can see you. And it's so bloody big that you can't see me. So And the reason that I haven't spoken much about dehumidifiers is that A, they're infernally dull, and 2, until recently, I didn't even know what they were. Because in Britain, for reasons that are similar as to why we don't have air conditioning units, dehumidifiers are quite rare. Now, of course, there'll be 1 or 2 British people watching going, I've got a dehumidifier, I know, my channel is not scientifically backed. But for the most part, in Britain, we don't use them, and I know they don't because I've done some really deep research on Quora. Whereas in a lot of American homes, you will find them. And of course, one of the chief reasons for that is that here in the Midwest and other parts of the United States of America, it can get ridiculously humid. But you know what? It can in Britain too. So why don't we use dehumidifiers? After all, if you allow humidity...
I think they are also good for avoiding mold, right? To avoid mold formatting into walls.
To accumulate in your house, it can lead to things like mildew. Well, the reason that people on Quora consistently gave is that the UK simply just doesn't get hot enough to justify it, which I suppose is fair enough, but we've been using one of these for a couple of years now, and I have to say the air quality in this house is fantastic since we've been using this. It's not switched on. Have we been using this? We haven't. So the air quality in here is just good anyway. So once I switch this on, I'll have 10 times the oxygen that everybody else has. No, I know it doesn't work that way.
Coffee maker. What do you mean?
And welcome to my kitchen, where I'm eagerly awaiting...
What do you mean? Who doesn't have a coffee maker?
...my 9th cup of caffeine of the day, and while you might think that's weird, I do live with a cat. But in order to facilitate that, I have here a coffee maker, which most Americans will be familiar with. And don't get me wrong, coffee makers do exist in Britain. It's just that they're nowhere near as commonly found as they are in American homes.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I would say that in Italy, most people still uses the old mocha. It's like that machine that you open, you squeeze it, put some water, the coffee, and then you do like the pop, 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 the bubbles, and then the coffee's out. I do have a machine kind of like this one, but it's the Lavazza one. It only makes espresso. And you can also make cappuccino and hot lemon tea, but it's not as good. It's just good for espresso. I tried to make different type of coffee. The cappuccino is so bad. I tried to make other yeah, no. Mine only works for espresso. The espresso really comes out really good. The quality is really good, and it's pretty cheap as well. I always wanted to try one of these. I still remember the time when I stayed in Egypt a long time ago with my friend. We stayed there for 6 months. We were always drinking the Nescafe coffee. That nowadays I can't drink it anymore. That's like the regular one, right? Like the Americano coffee. We'll fill out the whole cup, and I would drink like 3 or 4 of those a day. I don't know how I did it. I mean, I would always get a headache at the end of the day. But I always wanted to try like the real American coffee, like the real big one. I think it's pretty good actually. Yeah, it depends, of course. Come on.
There's a couple of reasons for this. Number one, just as was the case in my family, us Brits famously prefer tea, whereas us Americans prefer
I don't
coffee.
like tea that much.
And a lot of the time when we do make coffee in our British houses, many of us prefer instant coffee, the preparation of which is similar in many ways to making tea, minus the tea bag. So often, one of these isn't required.
Pretty
but a lot of
terrible.
Americans I speak to say that instant coffee is terrible.
Yeah,
As somebody
it is.
who never drank coffee when I lived in the UK, I can honestly go either way with it now.
I mean, yes, it is. It is really bad. I still remember when I went to stay with my friend in Newcastle, that is in the north of the UK. I had to bring my own coffee machine, the one I talked to you about at the beginning, because the coffee was, oh my. You would just drink the instant coffee. I couldn't anymore. I had that experience in Egypt, and then I was like, nah, enough. It makes me get a headache, the instant coffee. I don't know if that's something normal, but I don't know.
But ultimately, I do prefer having a machine that does what I tell it because, again, I'm elitist. Now, it does already have coffee in it, so I'm not going to brew any more. You'll just have to make do with this stock footage of coffee being brewed. I think you all know
much
what it's
does
like
it
to
cost,
see
a
coffee
machine
being
like
made,
that?
so I don't know why I did that.
Water dispenser.
You may remember in my home tour video that I briefly introduced you to this fridge/freezer. And I specifically pointed out that it's got this little touchscreen that dispenses ice. And the reason that I did that is because A, it was a really cool feature, and B, we don't really go for this kind of thing in the UK. Once again, our kitchens are quite a bit smaller. So that means there's not a lot of room to have fridges that are as tall as I am and as wide as I was about 9 years ago. And so because of that, our fridges don't really have room for bonus features like this. And when I talk about bonus features, I'm not just talking about ice cubes. The thing I really want to talk about is the cool water dispenser. That's right, instead of having to go through all of the rigmarole of filling your cup with ice, then walking over to the sink and then pouring water into that and then waiting for the ice cubes to cool the water down, you've got a cool water supply right here.
Oh.
It's unbelievable. It is absolutely
nice.
unbelievable, although it takes about a minute to pour.
Oh.
Which is a bit of a letdown. You're standing here trying to fill the void and the awkward silence between words. While
I mean, it takes less to fill out with sinks and then go to your freezer and take out the cubes and put them inside, no? Probably, I don't know.
while it pours.
Is it actually edible, the water from the sink in the US? I mean, many people would say here in Italy, it depends on the area. There's many people that prefers the bottled water. Nah, I do prefer the water from the sink. Come on, it's free, taste water. Yeah, but I remember in the UK when I went there, the water from the sink couldn't be drank. So we had to we bought a purifier for water. What we would do was to fill out this huge thing, then you turn it on, and after a couple of minutes, the water is good to drink, something like that. I don't know. Like a water purifier. I don't know actually. Maybe you do know.
And you talk to your audience. Still going. Still going. I actually hate this feature. One thing that my cat and I don't hate is birds, although for completely different reasons to each other. Can you remember in the old apartment when I befriended a family of mourning doves? Well, ahead of spring, I thought it'd be a great idea to learn more about birding in North America. And so this week, when I've had time in between packing boxes, I've been learning all about birding in the fantastic Wondrium series, the National Geographic Guide to Birding in North America. Did you know, this is unbelievable, right? There is a bird species that only exists in central Florida. Doesn't that blow your mind? It's called the Florida scrub jay and looks like this. And already from this series I've learned a ton of other stuff, which is weird because those mourning doves assured me that there was nothing more to know. But thankfully a knowledgeable human and birding enthusiast by the name of James Curry has been teaching me otherwise, from bird distribution to variations in plumage. And honestly, this sort of thing happens to me every time I experience a Wondrium course, which is probably why I can't wait to sit down with the new series, Experiencing Shakespeare, if only to rekindle my old theatre days. You see, for me, Wondrium is where you find the answer to everything you've ever wondered about, and some things you never imagined you'd wonder about. They're carefully curated.
Is it kinda like the great courses?
Collection of short and long form videos, tutorials, how-tos, travelogues, documentaries and more is academically comprehensive, thoroughly researched, relentlessly entertaining and presented by engaging experts.
That's pretty cool.
In a nutshell, Wondrium is the place for minds that wander. And for my money, as we continue to embark on this new year, a Wondrium subscription is the perfect way to fulfill those resolutions about broadening your mind. And it just so happens that they're giving my viewers, you fine people, the fantastic offer of a free trial. So show your support for my channel by subscribing to Wondrium today.
I will.
Visit wondrium.com/lostinthepond right now to begin your free trial. The link is in my description below.
Upload washer.
You join me here in my basement, or more specifically, my laundry room. And behind me, we have this beautiful model right here, which, you know, it might look like a futuristic toilet, but it does the opposite of a toilet and actually cleans your clothes. That wasn't an admission of any kind. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Lawrence, we have washing machines in Britain, you know, but just in a British accent. And yes, of course we have washing machines in Britain, but this is not just any old washing machine. This, quite specifically, is a top load. And the only time that I ever heard the word top load in the UK was a laundrette, or as they say here in the Midwest, laundromat, or as they say down in Texas.
I mean, I had one of those before. But just because I didn't have enough space in my house for a washing machine, so the only place it could fit was like very tiny, so I had to buy one top load one. But not that rare. I mean, it depends on the space you have in your house. I mean, here for some reason it's like that. I don't know. So they are all top load in the US. I think here only if you don't have enough space you will buy the top load, I guess.
Texas washateria. But it would be very rare to find one of these top loader machines, in other words, a machine in which you put the clothes in from the top, in UK houses, and there's a very good reason for that. And that reason is that in most British houses, we actually keep our washers and our dryers, or sometimes a hybrid of the two, in our kitchen, under the kitchen counter. So you can't really drop clothes into it because they just land in spilt gravy. Whereas I've seen a few of these in American homes, and this one's...
Usually here in Italy, we put them in the bathroom. I have it in the kitchen too. My kitchen is really small, so that's why. Actually, now I found one that is loader like the one he showed from down. Yeah, but it's really small. So
specifically becomes the first top loader that I've ever lived with. Not in the same way that you'd live with a wife or a pet, but it's here and it's nice. And the good thing about it is it's easy to use. I've never used one, so I don't really know how it works. Not a toilet. And finally, next to it is this one. And despite its appearance, it's not an oven, although that would be a quicker way to dry your clothes and shrink them. This is, in fact, a tumble dryer. Again, I'm not going to stand here and claim that we don't have tumble dryers in the UK. Clearly, that would be a lie. But as I said a moment ago, sometimes they are hybrids with the washing machine. So you wash the clothes and dry them in the same unit. But even when we Brits do have standalone tumble dryers in our houses, they're usually pretty small. Gotta be careful of the stovetop. I've just remembered it's not an oven. And again, the reason for that diminished size is that we have to fit these tumble dryers into a kitchen. Those kitchens are usually smaller than the ones you will find in the United States. So to economize space, we shrink them down, not like in a sci-fi way, but as if they were clothes in an oven. Whereas this absolute beast is massive. Join me now as we take a tour of the inside of my tumble dryer. Can't. It won't close. I can't close the door. It's too big. Did it? I did it.
That's what she said.
We're fine. So obviously having a house with a basement or even an add-on laundry room of any kind means that you just got all this space to be able to justify bigger units. And that is a lot of American houses. So all that being said, I'm now going to go and use my actual oven because I lost a little bit of weight last year and my clothes are too big. Thank you for watching this video and sharing it with all of your friends. I'm Lawrence Brown. You can follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that I don't have to. The next thing you're going to do is watch the official home tour of my house and all of the other house-related videos.
I will.
Thank you to my patrons for making these videos possible. If you would like to support Lost in the Pond, you can do so today at patreon.com/lostinthepond. Until the next video, goodbye.
That was really interesting, but I do have another question. Because I've heard before, I don't remember from whom, but when you dry the clothes in the dryer, it's not as good. I mean, the result is not as perfect, right? Because the clothes get a little bit wrinkled or whatever. I don't know who told me that, or if that's even true. So that's why I'm asking you, since you use it every day. I think it was in one of my other channels. I have so many channels right now. So yeah, maybe some American living in Europe that I check out in that channel reacting to Europe. I don't know. It might have been that. She said that she or he, I don't even remember who was that. That when you use the, I don't even know how to call it actually. The clothes hanger. I think it's called a clothes hanger. When you dry your clothes on the clothes hanger is way better than the dryer. But I don't know. So I'm asking you if that's the case. If you ever tried a clothes hanger. So yeah, this was very interesting. I mean, I guess it all depends on. Everything is generalized, of course. So it all depends. Like I've experienced. I tried all these home appliances, but most other people from Europe might have never tried them. But it was really interesting to learn something new about the US. So don't you forget to subscribe to my channel. Go check out also Lost in the Pond that makes amazing videos. And I will see you later on my new video.